Now, playing around with strings is fun, but if we're going to be sending things to tables, we want to make sure that it's nice and clean. PDO has its own functionality to ensure that you clean up your variable inputs. But for us, we already looked at a few things, but one of the things that I wanted to do, now let's make a new table here in tutorial. Let's give it a name of just, testing. And we're just going to have username. And it's going to be a varchar of 40. And text place, I have a varchar of 20. Okay? And we're just going to do that. We're not going to have any dates or whatever. This is just for this. Okay? Now, we already have, as I've mentioned before, you can do something like max length of 30 or whatever it is. But that can easily be bypassed or hacked. What we want to do is we want to ensure that once this post is done, once this request method of post is done, we want to give it more checks. We want to ensure that the information being brought in is not corrupted in some way. And one of the things we can do is the string length. We just looked at that. If post username, and what do? String length is greater than or equal to 30, or string len post text place is greater than or equal to, wait, this is 40 and 20. 40 and 20. Now, opening condition, condition within a condition, not a big deal. It can work with it. It's not a problem. You can put as many if, then, and we didn't get into if, then, else's. But now that we're doing checks, we're going to be doing if, then, else a lot. And you can go through as many if, then, else's as you want. Okay, now we've looked at if and else. We haven't looked at anything more than just a simple if and else. But what we also want, well, we'll just do a die in the sense. If any of those are true, any one, this is or. And if you know anything about simple arithmetic and math, or means only one of them has to be true. So if either one of these is more than 40 or more than 20, if this is more than 40, this is more than 20, we're going to die out, get bent. Okay? And then we'll just die out the values. Get in there. But that's our first condition. If these are more than what they, because you don't want to, it's just going to cut it off. So if somebody puts like their heart and soul into a poem and whatever, and it's only supposed to allow 40 characters, you're going to let them do that, and it's going to cut it off at the 40th character. That's all it's going to do. It's not going to break the system. It's just, this is just for a condition for your own checks. So we can't go, I don't even know what 40, is this 40? I'm just going to do this for like a while. We can't do that and then just do this. It's going to say get bet, okay? Because we exceeded the amount of characters that are allowed. Now, if you want to make this a little easier, you can go what we did before. Username equals post username. And you can name this variable, J and K. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's up to you. Why are my indentations off? Text place. This is off. Why is this off? Just to make this easier. But now we want to do even more. We want to check this even more. Right? So if you want, you can just stick with this one line and we could say, other things and this and it. But let's not do that. Let's do an else if, to break it down even further. So now we've passed the first check. They didn't screw up the string length. But now we have other functions. that we want to do. And one of them is, let me think. If I want to check to see if it's not text. Nah, it's far child. We'll worry about that later. If string len, we'll just keep doing string length, I guess. Username is less than or equal to 2, or string len text place. This is actually supposed to be text place. Text place is less than or equal to 3. We're going to die out enough. Otherwise, we're just going to post it. So we don't want more than 40 and 20, but we don't want less than 2 and 3. Enough, right? So now it's past those checks. Do we want to go even further? Do we want to say something along the lines of, it can include certain characters? That is what's called a regular expression. Regular expressions have several functions. Now, a regular expression, as you see here, we have preg match all, preg replace. That just means PHP regular. What regular expressions are, you know, when you have a password that requires certain characters, regular expressions look for specific characters in a specific sequence before they pass a test, or will change it to base it off of that or whatever. So in this sense, we can make a regular expression. We can do a preg match. I don't have any idea off the top of my head how to do regular expressions. I forgot how the formatting works. I mean, if you look here, performs case sensitive, meaning that it's got to be a specific case. And I think right. And then the expression, find any character not between the brackets. Like, that's if you want to have, like, it has to be numbers between 0 and 9. That's find a match of patterns. You separate them with this. Find just one instance of a character. You separate with a dot. Find a digit. I mean, the best way to really do it is to actually see it. Like, here's a pattern. Now, you can make a pattern that in a variable, or you could just put it in there. In this sense, we can say that it has to be a letter. So we want to make sure that there are no numbers in text place. We want to make sure there are no letters or numbers in username. So the best way to do it is PHP regular expression, only letters. We can just look it up. And it would be, if it's not this, then, so this is how you would do it, right? You would just do it like, again, it's hard for me. I don't know how to describe this, but it's hard for me. So we could just say, like, if not preg match, meaning not the expression does not match this sequence, and the sequence would be, I can't stand regular expressions. They're so, like, weird. I just look them up. Maybe that's why I don't know how to put them together. It would just be A through Z, A through Z. We're not going to do the numbers. You can if you want. And then plus dollars. I think that closes it out or something. I think this opens it up. And I really should learn this more so, because if I don't, then when we do something further along, it's going to become even more of a pain in the ass. If this or not preg match this, same thing. I don't like anything that looks dirty. This looks dirty. That's why I don't like it. I like clean programming. We're gonna die out again. Fucking indent, man. You really suck at this. Right? Hopefully I didn't make a mess. So if we were to do like blah 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 1, yada yada that, you really suck at this. And if we were to just do like this and like this, then we get it. So now that we've done any checks, all the checks that we want, now it's time to send it to the database so we can see it saved. And the way that we do that is we have to do a PDO expression or function, whatever. And one way you can do it is you can create a query, which we would say query equals, or whatever you want to call it, query now we got to talk MySQL. Insert into testing values, and these values are username and password. Boy, I hope I got this right. And then you can, well, we don't even need to make this variable. We can just say query. So query, and then we can go here, and here we can say we can make another query well, actually, we can say show. We can make a variable, and we'll say query, and this is select all from testing. Because now, if you make a query into a variable, it becomes an array that gets the information, and we can subtext it and go like this. Entries in the table. And then we can open up another PHP tag, and we can say for each. Here's a for each loop. You know what? I'm going too far. Let me not do this right now. Let's not do this right now. Let's not do this. I'm sorry. I'm pushing too far ahead. Let's just focus on validation, and let's see if we can get this into the table. Okay? Oh, I forgot. Okay, you know what? Let's not worry about this right now. I'm jumping ahead too fast. I'm sorry. Let's just keep it as is, and we'll just keep these. Yeah, we'll keep this as is. Let's just keep this as is. We already did our. Sorry. If you notice though, if there's a fatal error, it backs out before it produces. Like we didn't see this, right? Because it backed out because of that error. So let's not do any of that stuff first. Let's just do this. Let's focus on this. So we did our checks. This is called form validation. It's in PHP. It's in any programming language. You can do that any way you want. You can do it in JavaScript. PHP, I prefer it better because it's in the back end, so it's harder for anyone to really mess with it. You can go even further than that. Again, I didn't want to throw regular expressions at you so quickly. We just wanted to do, like, I wanted to show you some functionality, and then I wanted to show you how you can use it in checks. also it's hard for me not to jump ahead because, again, I PHP I've done, and to me it just seems logical to go from one thing to another. So I'm trying to keep it slow, and I'm really sorry if I'm jumping too far ahead. Let's just focus on this. So we asked the server for request method post. We've done that before. And this was just more or less to make username and text place, the post variables, easier to use. So then we did our checks. And again, this means or. So we checked the string length to ensure that it didn't go beyond anything that this would load in anyway. Saves you the time. And then we checked the string length to see if it wasn't too few characters. And then we did a regular expression. Now, when we come back, I'm going to show you how to have error messages here, and we're going to start loading things into the database. I promise we'll do that. I'll see you then.